National and local combined cop efforts are catching some of the most wanted criminals in the United States.
Operation Falcon sweeps the nation looking for criminals. Good morning. It is 6:30 on Friday, July 10th. We'll have more on this story in just a moment and continue our exclusive coverage.
This is a hell of a fire.
A 3-alarm fire destroyed a historic Eagle Point building, and investigators suspect arson.
The fire started around 7 last night, and smoke could be seen for miles. We'll have more on the Eagle Point fire in just a few minutes.
Joining us today, filling in for Derek Kevra, and Scott's out at the balloon rally near the Medford Airport, Crater Lake Highway. And Scott, sounds like things are really starting to fire up out there.
Yeah, that sound that resembles a lawnmower is actually a portable fan that inflates the balloons with air before they put the hot air in that gives them the lift. We're at the hot air balloon rally out near the Medford Airport. They're getting ready to launch right now. Looks like you can see some of the canopies inflating behind us.
Yeah, hoping we can get a live shot from out at the balloon rally. There he is, waving at us. Flying away.
Moment of reckoning, brother.
Okay, here we go.
We gotta take the rubber bands
coming
off.
Okay.
Ooh.
Chocolate.
Chocolate everywhere.
Hey, that's perfect.
That's why you wore white. Okay, we got to set it down. I'm going to take this little guy and I got to pry it up just a little bit.
You do what you have to do.
Crack the seal.
You're the master.
I'm going to crack the seal. We're going to see if we did it right on live TV. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
We've got eggs.
Looks beautiful.
You think so?
Was this the side with the gold? Because I can see a bit of a gold tint here. Okay.
Yep, that's the pattern.
Okay.
Oh yeah, nice eggs.
These feel good. They look good.
And they're done.
And these are hollow eggs.
They're hollow.
And can we break one? Can we see just how thick the chocolate is? I know we just
Sure, you do it.
Okay.
Push your thumbs through it. Pretty thick, huh? Oh man, good job. Outstanding.
Good morning. It's 5 o'clock on Friday, February 20th. Welcome to News Watch 12 this morning. I'm Ashley Hall. Ron Brown is off today. The temperatures outside are 36 degrees in Medford, 25 degrees in Klamath Falls. Meteorologist Derek Kevra is live at the KDRV Sportsman's Outdoor Recreation Show. And Derek, boy, that is a very fun event, and today's weather could be perfect for doing something outdoorsy.
Yeah, I really think it is going to be, Ashley. Temperatures overall today will be close to what we saw yesterday, but it looks like we're going to see a few extra clouds. Now, yesterday we did reach over 60 in Medford, and we'll get close to that today, but expect some changes to come our way by this weekend. Let's take a look at what's going on with the on its way here. That's coming up a little bit later on in the show, and of course, we'll be having a good time playing around at the 9th Annual Sportsman and Outdoor Recreation Show. Back to you.
Oregon Governor Ted Kulongoski says teachers should work without pay to keep schools open through the end of the year. K-12 is the second largest employer in Oregon. Representatives from the Oregon Education Association say investing in education and other human services could stabilize the economy quicker than saving funds for worse economic times.
Well, what we do know is that the legislature and the governor have the tools to support schools and other vital services this year to avoid drastic cuts. They do have some federal stimulus money as well as the reserve and rainy day funds to help mitigate the damage that could be caused in such a compressed timeline.
Governor Kulongoski is saying that he will veto any bill that attempts to use the rainy day funds or the education stabilization funds during his legislative term. Oregon Governor Kulongoski and thousands of government workers will be seeing their salaries frozen or even reduced as the state looks at ways to trim the budget. About 5,000 state managers will be forced to take up to 4 furlough days beginning March 1st. The changes will save the state about $6 million. The governor announced the plan at a conference yesterday while thanking state employees for their commitment to Oregon. The cuts will not affect union represented employees who are currently in negotiations with the state. If they were to take the same cut, the state would save more than $120 million during the 2009-2011 biennium. And Governor Kulongoski also discussed the upcoming stimulus money. He says that there must be a measured plan in place for spending it. He's calling it a 20-40-40 plan. The governor suggested spreading the money out over the next 3 fiscal years by spending 20% of the stimulus funds, or $450 million, on the current fiscal year to balance the budget. He would also like to spend 40% or $900 million on the next 2 fiscal years to keep the budgets operating normally. California lawmakers finally came together and passed a budget plan. Governor Schwarzenegger says state lawmakers were courageous in approving a combination of tax hikes and spending cuts to close the state's massive budget deficit. The legislature approved the budget balancing package early yesterday morning. It's intended to close California's $42 billion deficit through June 2010. Schwarzenegger, a Republican, praised the package of bills passed by the Democratic-controlled Senate and Assembly. He says Democrats compromised on their opposition to deep spending cuts, while some Republican lawmakers set aside their opposition to tax increases. He calls the legislature's work after a grueling week of all-night sessions, quote, difficult but courageous and just what California needs. New jobless claims are as high as they've been since the 1980s, with February shaping up to be another brutal month for workers. The brutality continues on Wall Street, where the Dow fell yesterday to its lowest level in more than 6 years. But the markets also anticipate better times.
Stock prices tend to bottom out about 5 months ahead of the end of the recession. They also tend to bottom out around 8 months ahead of the peak in unemployment.
But exactly when the recession ends is still anyone's guess. President Obama focuses today on Main Street, meeting with at least 85 mayors to discuss putting the stimulus to work. Some experts in Southern Oregon say President Obama's housing relief plan may skip over those in desperate need of refinancing to avoid foreclosure. There are also provisions to provide major incentives to those hoping to purchase a home. Experts say the housing plan will help people trying to buy homes by freeing up cash, and it could help sellers by increasing the number of people able to buy homes.
There's an $8,000 tax credit for first-time home buyers. There had been a tax credit that had been in law previously, but it wasn't really a true tax credit. You had to repay it over time. What this legislation does is make it a true tax credit, so it makes it easier for people to get into their homes.
The National Association of Realtors is forecasting a 15 to 20% increase in the number of home sales, in hopefully bringing the economy up with it. More details about the housing relief plan will be released in the next few weeks. A prominent Southern Oregon businessman and community member says he is guilty of online sex crimes with underage girls. Kelly Rasmussen made that plea in a Clackamas County Circuit Court yesterday. Rasmussen pled guilty to 2 counts of first-degree online sexual corruption of a minor, and 3 other counts are reported to be active. The Clackamas County Sheriff's Office says Rasmussen started pursuing one of the girls back in July and then the other in September. He's scheduled to be sentenced April 3rd. Years of battling over the removal of gravel from the Applegate River is now involving Governor Kulongoski. The governor has appointed Jackson County Commissioner C.W. Smith and Josephine County Commissioner Dwight Ellis to head up a solutions team. Some 40 representatives of state and federal agencies, counties, and citizens groups are all working to develop a plan for mining aggregate without harming the river ecosystem.
Everybody that's in the room needs to agree that they're going to not keep their feet planted in concrete on their issue, that they're going to listen to all sides of the issue and hopefully at the end come together in a cooperative agreement.
Ellis and Commissioner Smith say they need to have the framework for the agreement by July. One alternative is to open up the upper end of Applegate Lake to gravel removal. All schools in Josephine County will soon have automatic external defibrillators, or AEDs. They're devices that provide a shock to someone experiencing heart failure, and that can save a life. To pay for the defibrillators, 2 Grants Pass women teamed up with Evergreen Bank. They handed out wooden hearts that community members decorated. Evergreen then donated $1 for each heart that came back, which ended up being $5,000. Then they sold the hearts for $5 apiece to raise a combined total of more than $9,000. They're planning on repeating this effort again next year. And this weekend is the KDRV Outdoor and Recreation Show, and meteorologist Derek Kevra is live at the event. Derek, last time you were with some nice big boats. Where are you now?
Well, we're moving around. We've moved on to the ATV section. There's a few dirt bikes around me. Looks like those mini scooters that were incredibly popular for a long time. I think they're still obviously popular, as there's a few of them here. And then, of course, there's a bunch of different names for these things. 4-wheelers, ATVs. My cameraman said a different name earlier, but a lot of fun stuff going on down here. The interesting thing, all of this stuff is for sale. And that's what's so great about this show this weekend. Now, the doors will open today starting at noon, and then it stays open all weekend. It's only $5 to get in, and there is so much stuff to do here. I guarantee you that you will stay busy. We'll have more actually information on what's happening for the show coming up later. Coming up, we're going to be moving around. We'll have more stuff to show you, more information for you, and of course, more weather updates. Back to you.
And coming up, we'll hear about a best-selling author who's making her books available electronically. Plus, Derek is still live at the KDRV Sportsman's and Outdoor Recreation Show, and we'll continue to give you a preview of that big event. But first, let's take a live look outside on the Newswatch 12 Weather Cam Network, courtesy of AirportChevy.com. Watching out for you, this is Newswatch 12 this morning. Welcome back to Newswatch 12 this morning. The time is 5:13 and the temperature is 32 degrees in Medford, 25 degrees in Klamath Falls. Ron Brown's off today, and meteorologist Derek Kevra is live at the fairgrounds in Central Point, the Jackson County Fairgrounds, where this weekend is the annual, it's the 9th annual KDRV Sportsman's and Outdoor Recreation Show. Big title because there are a lot of events there. Yeah,
and I think actually the official name includes KDRV somewhere in there, but it's long enough as it is already.
Which is what I said.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. We've been running up and down these aisles. I'm a little out of breath right now, and I probably obviously can't hear as well as I normally do. Well, we're on a Harley now. This is one of the nicest bikes I've ever seen, and I've recently started to become obsessed with Harley Davidsons. I don't own one. I'd like to own one, but I don't own one yet. Unfortunately, the backdrop, not the most beautiful thing. But we're surrounded by beauty here, and you'll get a chance to see more of that coming up later on in the newscast. Let's take a look at the weather out there this morning. Running somewhere else. Cameraman with me this morning, Ashley, Mike. We're both working up a little bit of a sweat here.
Well, you guys are working hard, but you're doing a good job there at the Jackson County Fairgrounds. Now, Derek, I wanted to remind people when this show is going on so they can go and see for themselves all the really cool things that you're getting to experience this morning.
Sure. Doors open today at noon, and actually, one of the most impressive shows this year is the Wildcats, the Predators event, and that one, the first show starts at about 1 o'clock, I think. I'll have to double check all those figures, but then it's open on Saturday and it's open on Sunday as well. I'll have the exact times for you coming up in a few minutes.
Okay, thanks, Derek. A new website that teaches people to use Google instead of just asking annoying questions, plus other technology news with Jeremy Hubbard in this morning's Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, some of the top shows on cable could soon be available online. The Wall Street Journal reports major cable companies and TV networks want to form their own website to air their programs. The new service is a response to sites like Hulu, which offer TV shows for free. But this new site would not be free. It would only be available to cable subscribers. Well, best-selling author Danielle Steele is joining the ebook revolution. 71 of her novels will be made available digitally starting Tuesday. John Grisham and Tom Clancy recently agreed to make their novels available electronically. Privacy is a major concern among people joining Facebook. Many subscribers wonder if their personal information will be shared with everyone on the site. USA Today personal tech columnist Ed Begg has some advice to make sure your boss doesn't see something only intended for your friends.
You can actually apply different settings to very specific people. Now, a friend of mine has other advice worth heeding before you post any information. Would you be upset if your mom saw it? Would you be upset if your worst enemy saw it? Would you be upset if it was on the front page of USA Today? Bottom line, it's all a balancing act. But remember, what good is a social network if you're not willing to be social?
And you can find more tips on making the most of Facebook on USA Today's website. Finally, are you tired of getting asked questions a simple Google search could answer? A new site called Let Me Google That For You is the perfect response the next time someone asks you something as simple as, who is Hannah Montana? All you do is type that question into the site, hit enter, and they'll give you a link. Send that link to the person who asked you the question, and it will show them how to run a Google search, and hopefully then they won't bother you about it again. For information on all these stories, log on to the technology page of abcnews.com. Those are your Tech Bites. I'm Jeremy Hubbard.
Coming up, the Fed is predicting a shrinkage in the economy this year, and unemployment rates are at the highest since 1967. We'll have more business news after the break. But right now, let's take a live look outside on the Newswatch 12 Weather Cam Network, brought to you by AirportChevy.com. Watching out for you, this is Newswatch 12 this morning. Welcome back to Newswatch 12 this morning. We're taking a live view outside on the Newswatch 12 Weather Cam network. The time is 5:22. It's 32 degrees in Medford, 25 degrees in Klamath Falls. Wall Street slumped to its lowest level in 6 years as investors fear a longer and deeper than expected recession. Stan Case has more in this morning's Business Brief.
Stocks slipped Thursday as the Dow dropped to its lowest closing level since October of 2002. The Dow fell more than 1% to end at 7,465. The Nasdaq and the S&P 500 also lost more than 1%. Gloomy economic reports on unemployment and manufacturing have investors fearing a deeper recession lasting even longer than expected. The Federal Reserve issued an updated economic forecast late Wednesday, and not surprising, it isn't good. The Fed predicts the economy will shrink as much as 1.3% this year. Back in October, the central bank had predicted the economy would only contract by 0.2%. The unemployment rate is expected to climb to almost 9% from 7.6% now. New unemployment numbers released Thursday show continuing jobless claims at their highest level since the government started keeping track in 1967. Just under 5 million people are currently getting unemployment benefits. And while new jobless claims for last week remained unchanged, that number is still well above 600,000. The price of oil surged 14% Thursday after the government reported supplies edged down slightly last week for the first time in 2 months. Light sweet crude for March delivery rose more than 14% to settle at $39.48 a barrel. For Business Brief, I'm Stan Case.
Coming up, the box office this weekend is full of comedies for just about everyone. We'll have a preview of new movie releases next. But right now, let's take a live look outside on the Newswatch 12 Weather Cam network, brought to you by AirportChevy.com. Watching out for you, this is Newswatch 12 this morning. Welcome back to Newswatch 12 this morning. We're taking a live look outside on the Newswatch 12 Weather Cam network. The time is 5:26, 35 degrees in Medford, 25 degrees in Klamath Falls. Medea's back, and this time she's in trouble with police. Here's Jim Ribble with the scoop and Now Showing.
She's going to jail this time. I ain't going.
Tyler Perry's well-known character, Medea, is back. And this time, she's in trouble with the law. In Medea Goes to Jail, based on the play, the heroine ends up behind bars after a high-speed car chase.
I didn't raise no punk. You better go get that fool.
Medea soon befriends a young prostitute named Candy and works to reform the woman in her own motherly way. Medea Goes to Jail is rated PG-13. Fired Up heralds the return of the cheerleader flick. 2 high school football players try to avoid another summer at football camp by becoming cheerleaders.
300 girls who want it just as much as we do. Screw football. Let's go cheer.
The teens decide their best bet is to sign up for cheerleading camp, where they'll be surrounded by the opposite sex. When the head cheerleader sees through the boys' plan, the two have to come up with some slick moves just in time for the cheer finals. Fired Up is rated PG-13. For Now Showing, I'm Jim Ribble.
The nation continues to see a nursing shortage. Coming up, find out if Southern Oregon's nursing numbers are better than other places.
And I'm down here at the 9th Annual KDRV Sportsman and Outdoor Recreation Show. We're going to have all the weather information you need to let you know if you want to come down to the show this weekend. We'll have that coming up in just a few minutes. But first, a live look outside on the Newswatch 12 Weather Cam network. This view brought to you by AirportChevy.com. Watching out for you, this is Newswatch 12 this morning.
Good morning. The time right now is 5:30 on Friday, February 20th. Welcome to Newswatch 12 this morning. I'm Ashley Hall. Ron is off today. The temperature outside is 32 degrees in Medford, 25 degrees in Klamath Falls, and our meteorologist Derek Kevra is live at the KDRV Outdoor Recreation and Sportsman's Show. And Derek, this morning temperatures are a little bit cooler compared to yesterday.
Yeah, they are cool, Ashley, but we are going to see a warm up just like we saw yesterday in terms of temperature, probably a little bit more cloud cover though. Let me give you a few details about where I am this morning. I'm in Central Point at the Jackson County Fairgrounds, standing, well, with the rack of deer here. There's quite a few of them, as you'll see probably in a minute as we do zoom out. The information that you were looking for, Ashley, the doors open today at noon, and it's open from noon till 9 o'clock on February 20th. Now on Saturday, which is of course tomorrow, doors open at 10 o'clock and it goes until 8 o'clock p.m. And then on Sunday, doors also open at 10 o'clock and events go until 5 o'clock. Now the question is, what events? Well, a few amazing ones, and let me give you a little bit of information on it. They have the Salmon Wall of Fame. That's certainly pretty interesting. Perhaps one of the new one, and this is a headline feature, the world's greatest predator show. There's a 400-pound white Bengal tiger. How about that? That's pretty interesting, and I'm sure you'll see a lot of news on that throughout the day today, because we will have reporters, and I think we'll actually be going live from here at our 5 o'clock newscast as well. Now, weather today, we are going to see some clouds and temperatures getting up into the upper 50s again in the Rogue Valley. It's more on what's coming for the weekend as the weather is going to change, and of course, we'll have more shots of the Sportsman and Outdoor Recreation Show. That's coming for you just throughout the newscast.
A new analysis shows many unemployed Americans are having to pay to collect unemployment benefits or pay to call customer service to complain about it. Debit cards for Citigroup, Bank of America, JP Morgan, Chase, and U.S. Bancorp all carry fees and overdraft fees of up to $20. In several states, unemployment has no other option but through debit cards. Now, 30 states have struck debit card benefit deals. With the national unemployment rate at 7.6%, the market for bank-issued unemployment cards is booming. New jobless claims are as high as they've been since the 80s, with February shaping up to be another brutal month for workers. The brutality continues on Wall Street also, where the Dow fell yesterday to its lowest level in more than 6 years. The markets also are anticipating better times.
Stock prices tend to bottom out about 5 months ahead of the end of the recession. They also tend to bottom out around 8 months ahead of the peak in unemployment.
But exactly when the recession ends is still anyone's guess. President Obama focused today on Main Street, meeting with at least 85 mayors to discuss putting the stimulus to work. Some experts in Southern Oregon say President Obama's housing relief plan may skip over those in desperate need of refinancing to avoid foreclosure. There are also provisions to provide major incentives to those hoping to purchase a home. Newswatch 12's Andrea Calcano shows us how the housing plan will affect homeowners and buyers in the Rogue Valley.
Experts say the housing plan will help people trying to buy homes by freeing up cash, and it could help sellers by increasing the number of people able to buy homes.
There's an $8,000 tax credit for first-time home buyers. There had been a tax credit that had been in law previously, but it wasn't really a true tax credit. You had to repay it over time. What this legislation does is make it a true tax credit, so it makes it easier for people to get into their homes.
With more potential buyers, there could be more price competition, a small step towards stabilizing falling home values.
If there were more buyers on the street, with more interest, more demand, there's plenty of supply, we'd be able to stop the slide. And so part of this is to try to tell buyers, hey, you can still buy with 3% down. You can buy in some cases with 0% down. We'll give you 50-year low rates to choose from. On top of that, if you buy a house this year, we'll give you $8,000.
For those who already owe more on their home than it is worth, the housing plan may not be able to help. Many facing foreclosures in Southern Oregon have seen their homes depreciate 20 to 30%. This is after buying a home for less than 5% down.
Those people may be 25% upside down on their home, and this stimulus program says, we'll only refinance your home if you're 5% upside down. So it's going to take most of the borrowers in our area that are upside down in their home and need help, and it's going to shoot right over the top of them.
Still, the National Association of Realtors is forecasting a 15 to 20% increase in the number of home sales, hopefully bringing the economy up with it.
That was Andrea Calcano reporting. More details about the housing relief plan will be released in the next few weeks. Experts say buying and foreclosure predictions will become more accurate once the implementation of the plan is explained. Years of battling the removal of gravel from the Applegate River is now involving Governor Kulongoski. The governor has appointed Jackson County Commissioner C.W. Smith and Josephine County Commissioner Dwight Ellis to head up a solutions team. Some 40 representatives of state and federal agencies, counties, and citizens groups are all working to develop a plan for mining aggregate without harming the river ecosystem.
Everybody that's in the room needs to agree that they're going to not keep their feet planted in concrete on their issue, that they're going to listen to all sides of the issue and hopefully at the end come together in a cooperative agreement.
Ellis and Smith say they need to have the framework for the agreement reached by July. One alternative is to open up the upper end of Applegate Lake for gravel removal. The number of nonprofits has more than doubled in the last 15 years nationwide. But many people are asking, will the sector be able to sustain that level of service in the tough economic times? Newswatch 12's Amy Sinecki shows us how Southern Oregon's nonprofits are getting creative.
Especially in our region, more creative about how we cover administrative costs and how we cover the costs of delivering services.
The nonprofit SMART is turning to volunteers to make sure kids continue to read and learn.
Our board of directors made a really critical decision last spring when they took our school coordinators who had been paid employees of SMART and transitioned them into volunteers.
That decision took effect in October, and now about 800 volunteers pair up with kids across Jackson and Josephine counties.
If we didn't have our volunteers, we wouldn't have a program, because I'm only one person. I can't go and read to 1,200 kids, each week. So volunteers are critical to SMART. We couldn't survive without our volunteers.
But while the community is giving more time to programs like SMART, it's not able to give the money it has in the past.
Overall, they're noticing people are giving, but they're not giving at the level that they've given in the past for two reasons. One, either they're unemployed and don't have the resources to give, or two, they're just being careful because they're not sure about their own livelihood.
That's why Brian says nonprofits are needing to get creative and collaborate to try to meet the growing needs of the community.
I think we are really clear that the whole sector is going to need to go through restructuring, very similar to the business sector as well as the governmental sector.
That was Amy Sinecki reporting. The SMART program serves kids in kindergarten through third grades. If you'd like to learn more about that program or how you can volunteer, go to our website, kdrv.com, and click on News Links. Farmers across the state are having a surprisingly successful year. Last year's cold spring made for a late harvest, but local farmers still are posting record sales. A recent report from the Oregon State University shows that sales in 2008 improved 1.2% to a record $4.9 billion. Farmers say that's because buying food is not a luxury, but a necessity.
Things like a car or an RV or a washer dryer or anything like that. And they can put it off for a while, but they don't like to wait more than about 8 hours to eat.
Farmers say the economy has actually pushed more people toward locally grown produce, which tends to be less expensive. All kids in Josephine County may be a little safer thanks to 2 moms and 5,000 budding artists. For the past month, people have decorated wooden hearts. Evergreen Bank paid $1 for each one. They were then sold for $5 a piece, which raised more than $9,000. The money's being spent to buy automatic external defibrillators, which will be placed in all schools in Grants Pass and Josephine County.
And so the result of it is we are going to do a lot in being able to put automated defibrillators into the schools and other places in the community. And more importantly, I guess in some aspects, or just as important, is the fact that there are over thousands of people in this community that took their time, their energy, their effort, and their love to make that happen.
The defibrillators are already in 7 schools, and others will be set up starting today. And today also kicks off the 9th annual KDRV Jackson County Sportsman's and Outdoor Recreation Show. Meteorologist Derek Kevra is live there having a lot of fun this morning. And Derek, going to the show this weekend should be nice. Getting outside, will it be nice as well?
It should be nice, at least today and probably for the first part of Saturday. But come Sunday, it looks like some rain is going to move on in. Perfect time to come on down. Actually, any time is a great time to come on down. We're at the Jackson County Expo for KDRV's 9th annual Sportsman and Outdoor Recreation Show. I'm sitting here with some wild turkeys, and I was just told by our expert David Morris that these are some of the rarest wild turkeys you'll ever see, and they're all local. They're all, most of them, if not all of them, I think, from Josephine County. So how about that? We'll have more information from David coming up in just a few minutes. Let's take a look at what's going on out there for the weather. Feel a little bit cooler than that. We'll have more updates on your forecast for the rest of the weekend and more updates on the show. And again, we'll have David Morris. He is an expert on mostly deer and elk. We'll have him on in just a couple of minutes as well.
Today will be the first gathering of Bernie Madoff's creditors. Plus, the CEO of Bank of America has been subpoenaed over the bank's acquisition of Merrill Lynch. Find out more right after the break. But first, a live look outside on the Newswatch 12 Weather Cam Network, courtesy of AirportChevy.com. Watching out for you. This is Newswatch 12 this morning. Welcome back to Newswatch 12 this morning. The time is 5:44 and the temperature outside is 32 degrees in Medford, 26 degrees in Klamath Falls. Meteorologist Derek Kevra is live at the 9th annual KDRV Jackson County Sportsman's and Outdoor Recreation Show. Big name,
Yes.
Big event at the Central Point Fairgrounds. Derek, where are you right now?
I'm standing still with the deer. We've been trying to pull away, but it's so hard. This is one of the most spectacular things about this show, and this is exactly why we do have an interview coming up. Probably, I think about 6 or 7 minutes, we're going to talk with the deer expert here. The other thing about the show, let's talk about the information. How about that? It opens at 12 o'clock today, goes until 9 o'clock tonight. I'm pretty sure that's it. Or, yeah, 9 o'clock tonight. 12 till 9 today. 10 a.m. to 8 a.m. on Saturday, and then 10 a.m. until about 5 p.m. on Sunday. Admission, the cheap $5, and I'm telling you, it is worth it. You'll have a lot of fun at this show. There's things for all ages, and I'm sure if you come on down, you're going to see that. You'll probably actually see it this morning with all of the things that we are going to continue to show you. Let's hop right into the weather, and we'll see what's going on today and, of course, throughout the weekend.
The Oregon State basketball team is the surprise story of the Pac-10 season, and last night the Beavers were impressive yet again. Highlights from their game, as well as the Oregon-Stanford contest and more, coming up in your morning sports. But right now, let's take a live look outside at Klamath Falls on the Newswatch 12 Weather Cam Network. It's brought to you by AirportChevy.com. Watching out for you, this is Newswatch 12 this morning. Welcome back to Newswatch 12 this morning. We're taking a live look outside over Klamath Falls on the Newswatch 12 Weather Cam Network. The time is 5:53. It's 32 degrees in Medford, 25 degrees in Klamath Falls. The Oregon and Oregon State basketball teams are going in different directions. The Ducks are in danger of equaling the Beavers' 0-18 Pac-10 mark from a year ago. The Beavs would pick up their 6th league win with a victory last night. Will Southwood has highlights from both games in your morning sports.
Good morning. Here's a look at your morning sports. Every time critics count out Oregon State, the Beavers come roaring back. When OSU lost 4 straight after its upset of USC, its victory over the Trojans was deemed a fluke. But the Beavs followed up that skid with 4 straight victories, and most recently, Oregon State ended a 3-game losing streak with a win at Washington State Saturday. And last night, the Beavers with the chance to pick up their first season sweep of Stanford in 16 years. Oregon State jumped on the Cardinal early once again. Rulon Schoftenar splashes home the 3-ball. Beavers up 19-6. Then it's Calvin Haynes spinning and pulling up for 2. Haynes had 17. Beavs up 27-8 at that point. They lead by 12 at the break. Now in the second half, more from the Beavs. Schoftenar, the pretty hook shot and the foul. Beaver lead pushed to 21. But Stanford would come back. Landry Fields posterizing Daniel Dean. Fields had a team-high 17. Cardinal within 10. But it was the Schoftenar show last night, beating the press and a lone down low for the flush. He had a career-high 26. Oregon State picks up its 6th Pac-10 win after last night's 66-54 victory. In Eugene, Oregon hosting Cal, the Ducks are 1 loss away from a 14-game losing streak, the second longest slide in school history. First half, it's Garrett Sim to Michael Dunnigan, Oregon down 11-10. And then Jovan Catron spinning, scoring, and the foul. He had 12, but the Ducks trailed by 8 at the half. And take it from the pit crew, Joey Harrington in the house, as was Dennis Dixon, a Yankee hat. How original. But the presence did not help the Ducks. Jerome Randall pulling up for 3, Bears up 15, and then more from Randall, starting, and to the rim, 17 for him. Oregon falls to 0-14 in Pac-10 play after last night's 78-60 setback. And to some high school hoops, Grants Pass and South Medford squaring off for the SWC's 3rd seed last night. South led by 1 at the half. Now in the 3rd, and Jamie Batten accelerating to the rack. Her lane makes it 25-22 Panthers. But the Cavers coming back. Kayla Lawford tickling the twine on the tray. She had 14. GP up 27-26. Now in the 3rd, Kristen Obregon drawing contact and converting. The 3-point play makes it 36-32 Grants Pass. But the Panthers would respond. Brittany Newcomb leading the break. The pretty look to Hannah Curtis. She finishes. South Medford within 1. But the Cavers would not fold. Lawford to Mary Lathan. Grants Pass back up 3. The Cavers pull away to get the SWC's 3rd seed, 47-41, that final. And, of course, tonight, the round ball wrap at 11:15, that is. And that will do it for your morning sports. Have a great weekend.
Welcome back to Newswatch 12 this morning. We're taking a live look outside on the Newswatch 12 Weather Cam Network. The time is 5:58, 32 degrees in Medford, 25 degrees in Klamath Falls. This weekend is the annual KDRV Sportsman's and Outdoor Recreation Show at the Jackson County Fairgrounds. Derek Kevra is live at that event to give us a preview. And Derek, you are going to talk to someone, and you're really excited about this particular display.
Yeah, this is probably one of the most famous, most popular displays here. And I'm with David Morris, who's actually in charge of setting this display up. He's from Northwest Big Game. David, tell us what's different this year from last year's display.
This year we brought in what we call the Blacktail Legends of the Pacific Northwest. Features over 30 of the largest blacktail ever taken in Oregon and Washington.
And a lot of these are record-setting. You were telling me this before the.
Yeah, we have the world record non-typical and typical blacktails here, plus the largest muzzleloader blacktail and the largest fork and horn and three-point ever taken.
And all of these, or most of these, are local deer. That's what you were saying, right?
Yeah, there's about 80% of these are from Jackson County, which is the heart of the best of the blacktail hunting in the world, basically.
Very nice. And last year we had elk. This year, these type of deer are specific. They're what kind?
These are Columbia blacktail deer, and they are from Oregon and Washington. We also invite people to bring to be measured here throughout the show, so they can bring them in. We measure them for the record book for Oregon or Washington.
And some of these deer, like you were saying, this one, about 70 years old.
Yeah, the antlers are when it was killed. There's a lot of them from the 40s and 50s and 60s.
Okay, is he taking interviews? Should we ask him some questions? He seems kind of quiet. Thank you, David, very much. Ashley, back to you.
Okay, and that KDRV Outdoor Sportsman's and Outdoor Recreation Show starts at noon today, goes until 9 p.m. tonight. Then it's Saturday and Sunday, all at the Jackson County Fairgrounds. So check it out. 3 people are injured after a helicopter crash in California. Plus, an Oregon woman's body is found floating in a creek. We'll have details of these stories and other local news coming up after the break. But first, let's take a live look outside on the Newswatch 12 Weather Cam Network, brought to you by AirportChevy.com. Watching out for you, this is Newswatch 12 this morning. Good morning. The time right now is 6:03 on Friday, February 20th. Welcome to Newswatch 12 this morning. I'm Ashley Hall. Ron Brown is off today. Our temperature outside is 32 degrees in Medford, 25 degrees in Klamath Falls. That could change any moment. So we'll check in with meteorologist Derek Kevra, who is live at the KDRV Sportsman's and Outdoor Recreation Show at the Jackson County Fairgrounds. And Derek, what are you up to right now?
Well, we moved. As we said, we were going to try not to stay in the same spot too long. And now we're in a taxidermy center here, and all sorts of different animals. One of the most shocking and scaring right here, this cougar, mountain lion, however you want to put it. It scares you when you first see it. And let me tell you, early this morning, when you walk in here at 4:30 a.m., and this is one of the first things you see, it definitely jumps out at you. And the great thing about this show, and of course when I say this show, I'm talking about the 9th annual KDRV Sportsman and Outdoor Recreation Show. The great thing about it, well, there's so many things here. We've been bouncing around, we've stayed busy, and I'm sure if you come this weekend and it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you will stay busy as well. Tickets are affordable, only about $5. And you can get in, I'm not sure if that's a daily rate or if that's a whole weekend rate. I'll have to go ahead and double check that. I'll look through all the information I have. Let's take a look at the weather for not just this show, but for the weekend. The weekend begins. I know a lot of us have plans, and maybe some of your plans are to come down here. Again, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is when this event will take place. We've got a lot more planned for you this morning. I don't know if people remember, but last year, we did some live fishing, and I caught a fish. And I'm going to try to do that again this year. We'll see if I can follow my act up. I'm not incredibly confident. Back to you.
3 people are hurt after a U.S. Customs and Border Protection helicopter made an emergency landing on a California state beach. A U.S. Customs and Border Protection spokesman says the McDonnell Douglas 600 helicopter had taken off from Long Beach Airport en route to Brownfield Airport in San Diego yesterday. When the pilot started experiencing engine trouble, the pilot brought the chopper down on the beach near a nuclear power plant. The 3 crew members on board, all U.S. Customs and Border Protection employees, were hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries. The National Transportation Safety Board has been notified and will investigate. A Selma, Oregon woman was found floating in a creek yesterday afternoon. Sheriff's detectives say they believe Renee Kiefer was not wearing a seatbelt when she drove off the side of a narrow bridge and flipped her car upside down into a creek. The woman's 25-year-old son and his father located the car overturned in Clear Creek, just off Hidden Creek Road in Selma. Before EMS could arrive, Ms. Kiefer's family found her body in the creek not far from the crash. A prominent Southern Oregon businessman and community member says he is guilty of online sex crimes with underage girls. Kelly Rasmussen made that plea in a Clackamas County Circuit Court yesterday. Rasmussen pled guilty to 2 counts of first-degree online sexual corruption of a minor, and 3 counts are reported to be active. The Clackamas County Sheriff's Office says Rasmussen started pursuing one of the girls back in July, and then the other since September. He's scheduled to be sentenced on April 3rd. Police in Washington are looking for a father and a son who are wanted for the violent beating of a skier in Skamania County. Investigators think 33-year-old Michael Collins and his 16-year-old son beat and robbed the victim, dragged him into some bushes, and then left him for dead. The man was rescued by hikers on Monday. A 1998 Ford Explorer that belonged to the victim was stolen the day of the assault and has not been located. The former director of the Port of Astoria pleads guilty to violating the Federal Clean Water Act for discharging Columbia River dredgings back into the river. Peter Guerin was fired in 2007 for releasing dredged material and water that was pumped into upland containment ponds where it was supposed to be allowed to settle, then tested for contaminants. The dredging was done to accommodate the cruise ship business. Guerin faces up to 3 years in prison and possible fines. Oregon State Police are asking for the public's help finding the person responsible for dumping the heads of 2 mule deer in a Walmart parking lot. Sergeant Todd Thompson of the department's Fish and Wildlife Division says the heads were in a cardboard box found Wednesday outside the Walmart store in Newport. The antlers protruded well above the top of the box. Anyone with information is asked to contact Senior Trooper Doug Canfield at the following phone number, area code 541-265-5354, extension 304. Nursing educators in Oregon are working to ensure their students' retention rate into the health industry is strong. Newswatch 12's Tova Tupper shows us what's being done to keep new nurses on the job.
Rowe Community College's nursing program says the number of its graduates who leave the industry within a year is virtually non-existent.
They're matched with a staff nurse, typically in a hospital setting, and they're working up to, by the end of the program, being able to care for what's considered a full patient load.
The school says it's increased the hours the students are spending in the hospital before graduation, which helps their transition into the job market and their retention rate. But RCC says hospitals play a role too.
The employers have to really be attentive to the retention needs for the new graduates. And
many hospitals now have new graduate orientation and mentor programs. Those programs put recent grads at ease in a high-stress environment.
The healthcare profession isn't easy.
Allie Miles of Jacksonville has only been out of nursing school and in the field for a little while, but she says her transition was easy. The hospital she works for now gave her a scholarship for school, which allowed her to spend her final year of school at the hospital practicing her skills.
There has to be some sort of communication with the hospital systems and the education. The education has to be centered around where the nurses are going to work.
Though not in school anymore, Allie is still learning every day to become a better nurse.
We need more healers and less sick people to make our communities be strong.
And she encourages others with a passion for service to join her in the healthcare industry.
That was Tova Tupper reporting. The healthcare industry is also facing a nursing shortfall. Some predict they will reach 500,000 short by 2025. RCC and other nursing programs in Oregon have increased their nursing program size by 80% in the last few years. By increasing the size, the school is helping put more nurses into the field and decrease the number of shortfalls. Meteorologist Derek Kevra is live at the KDRV Sportsman's and Outdoor Recreation Show, finally starting to get that long name and seeing some of the long and big events that you guys have going on out there.
Good transition here, Ashley, because I'm in a pretty long boat right now. This is one of the nicest boats here, but there are a lot of them, and that's, I'm not sure if our cameraman can get it, but pretty much every area from this boat on up filled with different spectacular boats. Come on down here and see it this weekend. Doors open today at noon. They're open on Saturday. They're open on Sunday. Both of those days, doors open at 10 o'clock. Now, Saturday, things shut down at 8, and on Sunday, they close at 5. But there are so many things that you can do down here. Very family-oriented. There's things for, you know, the husbands and wives and kids. Lots of fun stuff. And, of course, we do have the fish tank, which we're going to go fishing in later, but there's also a mini fish tank for kids to have fun with when they come down to see the show this weekend. Let's talk about what's going on with the weather, though. We are dealing with some clouds, and in fact, the coastline likely to see some showers for the weekend. That's coming up in just a few minutes.
And it's Girl Scout cookie time. Later in the show, we'll hear whether they expect the economy to have an effect on sales numbers. But first, let's take a live look outside on the Newswatch 12 Weather Cam Network, brought to you by airportchevy.com. Watching out for you, this is Newswatch 12 this morning. Welcome back to Newswatch 12 this morning. The time is 6:15 and the temperature is 30 degrees in Medford, 23 degrees in Klamath Falls. So pretty cold outside, but probably pretty warm inside the KDRV Outdoor and Sportsman's Recreation Show, which starts this afternoon. Meteorologist Derek Kevra is there and run around seeing everything. It's a big show, isn't it, Derek?
Very big show. In fact, it's so big that you could, any which way you turn, you're always looking at something different. Right now, well, we're looking at this monster truck. And right before we came out from the commercial break, I leaned a little bit too far to the right, and the truck itself moved forward just a little bit. I'll tell you, that's a little bit scary. Now, the truck itself, not for sale, but a lot of the other things here are for sale, and you can get in. And whether you're looking to buy or just looking to have a good time, it's a very affordable event, only $5, and you get a chance to come in today. Doors open at noon. It'll go until 9 o'clock. And then Saturday and Sunday, they open at 10 o'clock. But on Sunday, things close at 5, whereas Saturday, it closes at 8. Let's take a look at what's going on with the weather outside for today, for tomorrow, and for the next 7 days. In fact, eventually we'll get to that. Probability of precipitation. That's going to start on Saturday night and continue through Sunday, through Monday, through Tuesday, and then scattered showers Wednesday as well.
Okay, and now you're about to take off your weather hat and put on your interviewee hat, because coming up we're going to hear more about the Sportsman's Show.
We are. And we have another interview, of course, with a pro bass fisherman. I'm going to try to catch a fish. We have about 75% of the show that we haven't even touched yet. So we're going to try to get you more visual shots.
Okay, thanks so much, Derek. Well, today the KDRV Sportsman's and Outdoor Recreation Show does kick off at noon and goes until 9 o'clock tonight. So after work, plenty of time to get out there and experience it. Tomorrow from 10 a.m. till 8 p.m. and Sunday from 10 a.m. till 5 p.m. Admission is $5. There'll be prizes, live shows, and lots of attractions. So even if you're not a fisherman or a hunter, I bet someone there can teach you how to do either. Well, it's the time of year again when Girl Scouts are kicking off cookie sales. Right after the break, we'll find out where you can get your cookies. But first, let's take a live look outside on the Newswatch 12 Weather Cam Network, courtesy of airportchevy.com. Watching out for you, this is Newswatch 12 this morning. Welcome back to Newswatch 12 this morning. We're taking a live look outside on the Newswatch 12 Weather Cam Network. The time is 6:21. The temperature is 30 degrees in Medford, 23 degrees in Klamath Falls. The Girl Scouts are going to be selling cookies at booths across the state starting today. Here with us this morning are a few Girl Scouts from our local area, Shelby Webb and Mariah Music, and I didn't catch... Morgan. And you guys are all three Girl Scouts?
Yes.
How long have you guys been involved in the organization?
This is my 5th year. 5th year.
Wow, so tell me what you guys like about being Girl Scouts.
It's fun. You get to go places. Yeah, and there's a lot of opportunities for Girl Scouts. We help out with the vets, and we usually, we are planning on helping out the Humane Society this year.
Oh, wow.
And there's lots of scholarships.
Wow.
If you get your gold award.
Oh.
Yeah, if you're in Girl Scouts, like, throughout, in, like, high school and stuff, you can get a scholarship to go to college.
Now, a lot of people are very familiar with the Girl Scout cookies, an annual favorite. Anything new this year?
Yeah,
this year there are a new cookie. It's called Dulce de Leche.
Oh.
It means like milk cookie or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. I think a double milk, so it's kind of caramel. Have you tasted it?
Yes. Yeah.
Is it good?
Yes. It's like a caramel shortbread with caramel chocolate chips in it.
Mmm. And what are prices? Tell me the price of a box of cookies.
They're $4 a box.
Is that the same as it was last year?
Yes.
Ah, so I know everybody else seems to be raising their prices and having a little trouble with the economy. You guys are staying steady.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you all so much for being with us this morning. Where can people find you all if they want to buy cookies?
Well, we stand outside of the stores, Walmart, Food for Less, Fred Meyer.
Okay. And you're going to be there all weekend?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so head to your local supermarket this weekend. If you are also wanting to find out more information about places you can get cookies, go to www.girlscoutssosw.org, and you can type in your zip code, find the nearest booth location there. Kickoff begins today, so rush out and get your cookies. And as much as I love Girl Scout cookies, don't leave these here because they're so good, I'd probably eat most of them. We'll be right back with a look at more of your local news and more from the Sportsman's Show. But first, let's take a live look outside on the Newswatch 12 Weather Cam Network, brought to you by AirportChevy.com. Watching out for you, this is Newswatch 12 this morning. Welcome back to Newswatch 12 this morning. We're taking a live look outside on the Newswatch 12 Weather Cam Network. The time is 6:26, 30 degrees in Medford, 23 degrees in Klamath Falls. Mexican food has become one of the most popular ethnic cuisines in the U.S., but for years we've been told that it's not very healthy. Newswatch 12, but now research says that not all Mexican food's bad, and in fact some may actually help prevent breast cancer, as Newswatch 12's Andrea Pettis reports.
Roughly 182,000 new cases of female breast cancer was expected to be diagnosed in the U.S. last year. Breast cancer is lower among women who eat native Mexican food.
I go a lot towards the fruits and the vegetables, of course salads and protein. I'm big on protein.
Now she can add Mexican food to the list. New research finds Native American food may actually protect women against breast cancer. But don't mistake native for high-fat, low-fiber, Americanized version of Mexican.
The native Mexican diet would have an abundance of fruits and vegetables, beans. They would have tomato-based sauces and Mexican cheese.
Native Mexican food has ingredients you can find at a grocery store, like cabbage, squash, corn, beans, and different spices.
The American Cancer Society has for years said fruits and vegetables, that is where the immune boosting components of food are found. And this is just a study that confirms that.
Margie's hopeful these healthy eating habits will keep her breast cancer in permanent remission. And now she knows Mexican meals might help.
The Western diet is high in fat and sugar and is believed to be the greatest risk of breast cancer. Andrea Pettis, Newswatch 12.
Thousands of people are dealing with home foreclosures. Coming up, find out how the new mortgage plan that President Obama is encouraging people to go could help people in Southern Oregon.
And we're down here at the 9th Annual KDRV Sportsman and Outdoor Recreation Show. We'll have more updates on the show. You'll have all the news you want about that, and of course your weather updates are coming up as well. But first, we'll take a live look outside on the Newswatch 12 Weather Cam Network, brought to you by AirportChevy.com. Watching out for you, this is Newswatch 12 this morning.
Good morning. It's 6:30 on Friday, February 20th. Welcome to Newswatch 12 this morning. I'm Ashley Hall. Ron Brown is off today. The temperature is 30 degrees in Medford, 23 degrees in Klamath Falls. Meteorologist Derek Kevra is live at the Jackson County Fairgrounds for the 9th Annual KDRV Sportsman's and Outdoor Recreation Show. And Derek, all morning you've been moving around from place to place. The temperatures have held pretty steady.
That's right. Yeah, Medford started this morning at, well, actually, when I got in at 3 o'clock, it was about 35. Then it fell to 32. Now at about 30 degrees, so it's cool outside. And it's actually pretty cool in here, if I can use that term. We're in an RV here. It's I think the technical term is fifth wheel. And there's a few of them down here, not to mention a couple of pop-up campers as well. And you can come down here, check them all out. Where? I keep saying here, but I'm not saying where I actually am. I'm at the Jackson County Fairgrounds in Central Point. Cameraman right now is showing the TV that, well, I'm sure if your TV would be on here, you'd be watching Channel 12 News, but you probably have to have that digital converter box, which I guess is the problem this morning. But we're at the 9th Annual, like Ashley said, Sportsman and Outdoor Recreation Show, again, in the Jackson County Fairgrounds in Central Point. Let's talk about what's going on for the weather for not just today, but the next couple of days as well. Now, about, I think it's 20 minutes or so, we'll be attempting to catch a fish. Again, like we did last year. I caught one last year, and we have a pro bass fisherman again here this year, and he said, I guarantee it. So we'll see if that's true or not. Back to you.
Oregon Governor Ted Kulongoski is suggesting that teachers should work without pay for up to 5 days this school year. so they can make up a budget deficit. It's getting big reactions from the Oregon Education Association. The organization says K-12 is the second largest employer in Oregon. They need to support those jobs so the state can ensure money is constantly re-entering local economies. Representatives from the association say investing in education and other human services could stabilize the economy quicker than saving funds for expected worse economic conditions.
Well, what we do know is that the legislature and the governor have the tools to support schools and other vital services this year to avoid drastic cuts. They do have some federal stimulus money as well as the reserve and rainy day funds to help mitigate the damage that could be caused in such a compressed timeline.
Governor Kulongoski says he will veto any bill that attempts to use rainy day funds or the education stabilization funds during his legislative term. Oregon Governor Ted Kulongoski and thousands of unemployment government workers will see salaries frozen or even reduced as Oregon looks at other ways to trim the budget. About 5,000 state managers will be forced to take up to 4 furlough days beginning March 1st. Those changes will save the state about $6 million. The governor announced his plan at a conference yesterday. At the same time, he was thanking state employees for their, quote, commitment to Oregon. The cuts will not affect union-represented employees who are currently in negotiations with the state. If they were to take the same cut, the state would save more than $120 million during the 2009-2011 biennium. Yesterday, Kulongoski also was discussing the upcoming stimulus money and says that there must be a measured plan in place for spending it. He's calling his a 20-40-40 plan. The governor is suggesting spreading the money out over the next 3 fiscal years by spending 20% of the stimulus money this year on the current financial fiscal year to balance the budget, then 40% on the next 2 fiscal years to keep the budgets operating normally. California lawmakers were able to come together to pass a budget plan yesterday. Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger says state lawmakers were courageous in improving a combination of tax hikes and spending cuts to close the state's massive budget deficit. The legislature approved the budget balancing package early yesterday morning, which is intended to close California's $42 billion deficit through June 2010. Governor Schwarzenegger, a Republican, praised the package of bills passed by the Democratic-controlled Senate and Assembly. He says Democrats compromised on their opposition to deep spending cuts, while some Republican lawmakers set aside their opposition to tax increases. He calls the legislature's work after a grueling week of all-night sessions, quote, difficult but courageous and just what California needs. New jobless claims are as high as they have been since the 1980s, with February shaping up to be another brutal month for workers. The brutality continues on Wall Street, where the Dow fell yesterday to its lowest level in more than 6 years. But the markets also anticipate better times. Exactly when this recession ends is still anyone's guess. President Obama is focusing today on Main Street, where he will meet with at least 85 mayors to discuss putting the stimulus to work. Some experts in Southern Oregon say President Obama's housing relief plan may skip over those in desperate need of refinancing to avoid foreclosure. There are also some provisions in his measure that would provide major incentives for people to purchase a home. Experts say the housing plan will help people trying to buy homes by freeing cash. It could also help sellers by increasing the number of people who are able to buy houses.
There's an $8,000 tax credit for first-time home buyers. There had been a tax credit that had been in law previously, but it wasn't really a true tax credit. You had to repay it over time. What this legislation does is make it a true tax credit, so it makes it easier for people to get into their homes.
The National Association of Realtors is forecasting a 15 to 20% increase in the number of home sales and hopefully being able to bring the economy up with it. More details about that housing relief plan are expected to be released within the next few weeks. A prominent Southern Oregon businessman and community member says he is guilty of online sex crimes with underage girls. Kelly Rasmussen made that plea in a Clackamas County Circuit Court yesterday. Rasmussen pled guilty to 2 counts of first-degree online sexual corruption of a minor, and 3 other counts are reported to be active. The Clackamas County Sheriff's Office says Rasmussen started pursuing one of the girls in July and the other in September. He is scheduled to be sentenced April 3rd. Years of battling over removal of gravel from the Applegate River is now involving Governor Kulongoski. The governor has appointed Jackson County Commissioner C.W. Smith and Josephine County Commissioner Dwight Ellis to head up a solutions team. Some 40 representatives of state and federal agencies, counties, and citizens groups are working to develop a plan for mining aggregate without harming the river ecosystem. Ellis and Smith say they need to have the framework for the agreement reached by July. One alternative is to open up the upper end of Applegate Lake for gravel removal. All schools in Josephine County will soon have automatic external defibrillators, or AEDs. They're devices that provide a shock to someone experiencing heart failure that can save a life. To pay for the defibrillators, 2 Grants Pass women teamed up with Evergreen Bank. They handed out wooden hearts to community members who decorated them. Evergreen then donated $1 for each heart that was returned. That ended up being $5,000. They sold hearts for $5 a piece to raise a combined total of more than $9,000. They're planning on repeating the effort again next year. Meteorologist Derek Kevra has been at the 9th annual KDRV Jackson County Sportsman's and Outdoor Recreation Show at the Jackson County Fairgrounds. And Derek, you've been moving all around, so you're staying warm, but it's pretty cold outside.
It is pretty chilly outside this morning. Medford has dropped below that freezing level. We're staying warm. We're in this nice fifth wheel. We can't seem to pull ourselves out of it. It's honestly one of the nicest ones I've ever seen, and you can get a chance to see it if you come down here this weekend. Doors will open today at 12 o'clock, and they'll continue on, the show will continue, that is, on Saturday and Sunday. Let me talk about some of the events that are actually taking place here. I feel like I haven't done this enough this morning. They have the world's greatest predators display, which does include a 400-pound white tiger. That should be very, very interesting. They have the big game room, which, of course, we talked to David about earlier this morning. The giant fish tank, the Salmon Wall of Fame. A lot of events are taking place here, and you could win an ATV. Enter yourself in the drawing, and you can definitely see that. Let's take a look at one more thing, though, before we head to commercial break. Come on, follow me here. And as we head right out this way, out the fifth wheel, we're looking at the 50-foot fish tank. That's where we're going to be fishing at in just a few minutes. Hopefully we can catch a fish. We'll have pro bass fisherman Phil Strader here with us. That's coming up in a few minutes.
And still ahead, Derek will test his fisherman's instinct to try to attempt catching a live fish from the giant fish tank at the Sportsman's and Outdoor Recreation Show, brought to you by KDRV, which starts today. It's kind of like shooting fish in a barrel, isn't it, Derek? Still ahead, we'll have more on that, but right now a live look outside over Klamath Falls on the Newswatch 12 Weather Cam Network, brought to you by AirportChevy.com. Watching out for you, this is Newswatch 12 this morning. Welcome back to Newswatch 12 this morning. The time right now is 6:43. Our temperature is 30 degrees in Medford, 23 degrees in Klamath Falls, and the temperatures are cold across southern Oregon. Meteorologist Derek Kevra is live at the KDRV Sportsman's and Outdoor Recreation Show. And Derek, before we talk about all this exciting stuff that's going on at the show, boy, big changes are coming for our weather.
It does appear so, Ashley. Temperatures, well, this morning they're pretty cool, but overall in the afternoon they are going to be warmer. Now the trend is going to be cooling down and rain making its way on in for the weekend. The weekend itself is not going to be a complete bust. We'll talk about those details. How about right now? Moving on into the radar, we are going to see some clouds out there in the Pacific, and of course Monday and Tuesday as well. All right, here we go. This is what we've been looking forward to all morning. I'm here with pro bass fisherman Phil Strader. Phil, great to see you again. How's your confidence level this morning?
Oh, my confidence is always high. How about yours?
I wish I was that confident. We'll see. Same deal, right?
Same deal.
Let's trade.
Shouldn't be a problem.
All right.
Just flip that right out there like that.
Okay.
I'll hand that to you.
I'll hand this to you.
And hopefully it won't take long. Just jiggle that rod a few times, pop it up and down. What do you got going on there?
A little bit of a bite. I got a little bit of a bite. Now, they're,
he just let it spit it out. Let it go back down.
There are some pretty big fish in here.
There are some big ones. I think you got a good chance to catch one. If you let that drop back down a little bit.
Okay.
What do you got going on now?
Just bobbing a little bit. No real bites. I fear that if I grab one of these big ones, I will fall into the tank.
Well, we're going to give demonstrations all throughout the day.
Okay.
And I think maybe flip that back out there. Oh, what do you got? He's got something tugging on him here. We're going to.
Oh, we lost.
See, we're going to give it demonstrations to novices like yourself all day long, and we'll show you how to prevent that from happening.
Okay.
But
and you guys start your event at what time here?
The doors open today at 11, I believe.
12 o'clock, I think.
12 o'clock today.
And they start right away?
They'll start right away. We'll do demonstrations on the tank here every hour on the half hour.
Okay.
And we'll specialize in salmon, steelhead, bass, both largemouth and smallmouth.
Okay.
And we're going to give tips and techniques on what the pros in the West do to catch more fish.
Okay.
I have guides, professional fishermen like myself, tackle store experts, and oh, what do you got now?
Feel some nibbles here.
Well, see if you can reel him up. We'll
right.
put him in the net. But it's going to be a great day, and I hope everybody comes. Hope everybody comes out. Like I said, novices like you will make pros by the end of the day.
Okay, thanks, Phil. And like he said, they'll be down here all weekend helping people out. And I'm going to keep going through the commercial break and see if I can get one. I'll let you know if it happens. I think either way, I'm going to say I caught one.
Oh, he's going to catch it.
Back to you.
Okay, the KDRV Sportsman's and Outdoor Recreation Show does start today at noon. Goes until 9 o'clock tonight, so even if you're working through the afternoon, still plenty of time to make it out there. It's 10 a.m. till 8 p.m. tomorrow. Great place for a date, huh? And then Sunday, 10 a.m. till 5 p.m. Admission is $5, but you can have the chance to win prizes, see live demonstrations, catch a fish maybe if you have better luck than Derek, and a lot more attractions. Well, it's Friday, which means it's time for Pet Patrol. We'll meet our pet of the week, and I hear it's a cute puppy. That's right after the break. But right now, let's take a live look outside on the Newswatch 12 Weather Cam Network, brought to you by AirportChevy.com. Watching out for you, this is Newswatch 12 this morning. Welcome back to Newswatch 12 this morning. We're taking a look outside, a live look brought to you by AirportChevy.com on the downtown Klamath Falls. The time is 6:50 and the temperature is 30 degrees in Medford, 25 degrees in Klamath Falls, and it's Friday, which means it's time for Pet Patrol. Marty McGuire from Friends of the Jackson County Animal Shelter is here with a friendly dog. Our initial report said it was a puppy, but you say it's not quite a puppy, just a small dog.
Mistaken for a puppy.
Yeah, it looks just like and cute and excited as a puppy.
Oh yeah, well you got that right. So this is Samba, and he's well what we like to call just a very small black dog variety, but probably some Chihuahua in him, and has that kind of energy, that's for sure. But real friendly guy, loves to cuddle.
Oh,
and for some reason doesn't like television
a little
cameras.
Camera
I don't know what the whoa, come here. Okay.
Bless his heart. You know why? It's because this smells like cats. This is what we use for our cats, and so I bet he is going crazy smelling the cats.
Okay.
So what are we talking about today?
Prevent Litter Month. Every February is always a Prevent Litter Month. Wanted just to remind people that we have the low-cost spay-neuter certificates that are available at all Medford Mini Pet Mart locations, also at Grants Pass, Pet Country, and Grange Co-op in Medford, White City, and Ashland. You can save a lot of money, get your pet spayed or neutered, preventing unwanted litters, and of course better for the health of your dog as well.
Right, and plus everybody loves puppies and kittens, but you can always go adopt one at a shelter. You don't have to put your animal through that.
So if anybody is interested in Samba, you can just get a hold of us at the Jackson County Animal Shelter between Phoenix and Talon on South Pacific Highway.
Okay, thank you so much for being with us. And coming up next, we'll find out who celebrates a birthday today. But first, a live look outside on the Newswatch 12 Weather Cam Network, brought to you by AirportChevy.com. Watching out for you, this is Newswatch 12 this morning. Welcome back to Newswatch 12 this morning. We're taking a live look outside on the Newswatch 12 Weather Cam Network. The time is 6:54, 30 degrees in Medford, 25 degrees in Klamath Falls, and it's time to see who celebrates a birthday today and over the weekend. This first lovely lady is Jean Schubert. She turns 75 years young tomorrow. Where is Jean? Hey, there she is. Look at her. I bet she's a member of the Red Hat Society. Jean, your birthday wishes are from your husband and your best friend, the other Jean. Brianna Newman is turning 18 years old today. She's a senior at Mazama High School, I believe, that's supposed to read with a message of happy birthday from your big crazy family. They love you. Mary Morales is turning 18 tomorrow as well. She's the one on the left in this picture. Happy birthday from your family. Ron Anrud is turning 78 tomorrow. We have birthday wishes for you, Ron, from your wife and son. And this next handsome young boy turns 13, the newest teenager in town. Happy birthday from Grandma. She loves you. This next happy boy is turning 2 years old on Sunday. What a cutie. Love Grammy, Gramps, and Ray Ray. Keisha Marie Happenstall Watson is turning 8 years old on Sunday. Happy birthday from Dad, Crystal, Bama, and all of us that love you. And Rachel Artman is having a birthday on Sunday as well. I'm not sure how old Rachel is going to be. And our own Andrea Pettis celebrates her birthday over the weekend. Not saying how old she is, though. Now, if you would like to wish someone a happy birthday, send a picture and a self-addressed stamped envelope 10 days in advance to birthdays in care of Newswatch 12, Post Office Box 4220, Medford 97501. You can also email pictures and information to birthdays@kdrv.com. Birthday people get a special treat from Dairy Queen. And this weekend is the annual KDRV Sportsman's and Outdoor Recreation Show. There's always something for everyone at this show, and even if you're not an avid outdoorsman, boy, this show can turn you into one, as we just saw with Derek Kevra.
Yes, it's funny. During that commercial break, I stayed and I caught a fish, and I'm telling you, that fish was about this big overall. Yes, one more time here. Doors open today at 12 o'clock. Where are we? Well, we're in Central Point at the Jackson County Fairgrounds for the 9th annual KDRV Sportsman and Outdoor Recreation Show. Let's take a real quick look at the forecast. I know a lot of people are wondering about this for the weekend. Saturday night, showers do start. They continue Sunday and Monday, and then, well, you can see Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all dealing with some showers as well. And, well, I guess one last hit here. Come down here at 12 o'clock today. Doors open or stay open 10 o'clock on Saturday. If you want to see any more show or any more of the show, log on to KDRV.com.